We will go into the next panel discussion. And this is because we are pressed for time. Ideally, we should not have been in this hall. We should have been somewhere else. But on account of circumstances beyond the organizers, we had to be here. But then this hall is booked for another event in the afternoon. So would like to run through the rest of the remaining panel discussions. Thereafter, we can break for tea and network. So now is the time for panel 3, talking about investment opportunities in Zambia, priority sectors, as well as incentives. Our moderator for this panel discussion is no other than Ms. Grace Kanene, who is an EXCO member of the Ndola and District Chamber of Commerce. So, Grace, please come forward and invite your panelists.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking investments, and because we are pressed for time, let me call my panelists. From Zambia Development Agency, Mr. Dennis Kaulu, Assistant Director, Investment Support Services. A big hand. From Zambia Tourist Agency, Mr. Robert Simushi, Head Policy, Planning, and Information. A big hand, ladies and gentlemen. From the Industrial Development Corporation, Mr. Mainga Mkando, Chief Investment Officer. A big hand. I seem to have left out 2 of my panelists. We're supposed to have a representative from Securities and Exchange Commission. If you are here, kindly come to the podium. A big hand, a big hand. And then we are supposed to also have somebody from ZESCO. ZESCO? A big hand, a big hand. On a light moment, next to me is my young brother. So when they were giving me the name, I was like, what? My young brother is on the panelist. Next to him is an old schoolmate. We were at university together. So this is going to be awesome. Panelists, ground rules and rules of engagement. We only have 25 minutes to finish. So please be brief, to the point, and under 1 minute. Should you go further than 1 minute, I apologize in advance. I will interject. Is that okay? Right. Sounds better, somebody says. So we'll kickstart with ZDA. ZDA plays a central role in attracting and facilitating investment in Zambia. Looking at the country's development priorities, which sectors currently present the most attractive investment opportunities, and what incentives are available to investors seeking to establish or expand operations in Zambia? Mr. Skaulu, over to you.
Thank you so much. So as my sister has mentioned, my name is Dennis Sikaolu, Assistant Director responsible for Investment Support Services at the ZDA. That's a very interesting question. So there are a number of attractive sectors, and we as ZDA, of course, promote investment in other sectors. However, there are some sectors that have been gazetted as priority sectors by the government, and these are manufacturing. So if you're into agro-processing, value addition, any form of manufacturing, it's considered a priority sector. You also have construction, and we have energy. We also have water development, and least but not the least, information and communication technology. Under the ZDA, there are the major incentives that are offered are accelerated depreciation. So when you are bringing in machinery and equipment, it can be depreciated at an accelerated rate, and also you get exemptions from paying customs duty on machinery and equipment that you're bringing in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Zambia Tourism Agency, Mr. Simushi. Tourism is increasingly being recognized as a key driver of economic diversification. What investment opportunities currently exist within Zambia's tourism sector, and which areas remain underinvested despite having strong growth potential?
Okay, thank you for that question. So for the benefit of the audience, Zambia Tourism Agency has two mandates. The first mandate is obviously to promote and market the destination domestically as also at an international scale. We also have a mandate of regulating the sector through licensing and establishment of standards. So as we talk about tourism, I would like to maybe use a three-tiered approach to highlight the opportunities that you may find within the tourism sector. First is that of the common misconception that tourism is all about leisure travel. So when you talk about the leisure product, you will realize that there is quite a lot of opportunities. What do I mean by that? We have accommodation service providers that come to the party. We can talk about transportation service providers. We talk about food, because you need to understand that if a person comes to your hotel, obviously they will need to use all those services. The second perspective that I can highlight in the interest of time is what I would call the enabling layer. For the sector to thrive, again, you will notice that a tourist coming from another country needs to have air access. And it could be rail connectivity issues. We need to also have other issues to do with technology. All those are different opportunities. But the last perspective that I can give, maybe as I highlight the opportunities, is that of what we call business events. We are gathered in this place to discuss things that are of a business nature. We're trying to push a certain agenda forward. So you will notice that putting up an event of this magnitude, it requires a whole value chain of players. You have photographers providing us a service. Just the panel that has just ended, we had an interpreter. All those are various opportunities. We talk about accommodation coming into the party. So you will notice that if you look at tourism, there is quite a lot that is there. In terms of the underinvested areas or areas that maybe we can look at, almost everyone in this room will agree that there is very little or limited activity happening in what we call the Northern Circuit. And there are reasons for that. You'll notice that as we talk about a tourism product, there is what we call the 4 A's of tourism. And that's what we call accommodation, accessibility, amenities, and attractions. So we have attractions in the Northern Circuit, Luapula or Northern Province, but you find that there are limited quality accommodation service providers. We talk about infrastructure in terms of accessibility, it's a challenge. And if you talk about amenities, whether it's banking facilities or health services, they are limited. All those challenges should be seen as opportunities.
Thank you. Thank you very much. IDC. Mr. Mainga, IDC has a mandate to spearhead strategic investment that support national development. What sectors does IDC consider most critical for Zambia's long-term economic transformation? And what investment opportunity exists for partnership with the private sector?
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm glad that my colleague got the chance to speak a bit earlier. I hope everyone was here to at least get the background on who IDC is so that I don't have to go through that. So in terms of the sectors as IDC, there are 5 sectors that we consider key, right? And these are derived from the 8th National Development Plan. So it is energy, it is mining, it is agriculture, agribusiness, and manufacturing in a sense, and then it is transport and logistics, and it's tourism. So those are the key sectors for us. That's where we see ourselves, in a sense, establishing new businesses for Zambia, right? And how IDC operates is that we operate generally through partnerships. So we set up joint ventures or partnerships with both local and international investors, where by partnering with IDC, then you are able to get insights into the local market and some level of government partnership, and therefore some level of security. We are able to invest, so we actually take shareholding in the companies that we establish. So we will set up both new companies, but then we also invite partnerships into businesses that we have already. Every now and then we will go ahead and establish a new business in an area, and we look at it like, you know, by establishing the business and proving concept, by having it operational, we are de-risking it for a private sector partner. And so even when they come in, they're able to, whether it's doing the due diligence or getting assurance of the success, potential success of the business, they're able to evaluate it much better because it is operational.
Thank you. Well noted. Thank you. A big hand. Securities and Exchange Commission. When we talk about investment in Zambia, priority sectors and looking at investment broadly, where does SEC come in? What is your role when you are speaking into investment of this nation?
Thank you. I'll start by introducing myself.
Yes.
My name is Diana Sichone. I'm the Director, Enforcement and Legal Services at the Securities and Exchange Commission. And we're pleased to be part of this panel because the mandate of the Securities and Exchange Commission is about long-term capital formation. So we have, we look at what priority sectors the government has identified. But then for us, our role is to facilitate capital formation, long-term capital formation. What I mean by that is that we look at those the same sectors that have been identified, whether it's mining, it's tourism, it's manufacturing. How do those companies raise financing that they need for the long-term development and growth of those sectors? That's where we come in. So you do this through various means. You can do it through equity, where you could come to the market, you come and do an IPO, an initial public offer, and then you raise the financing that you need to develop and grow that sector, the productive sector of the economy. Or you could do it through debt, where you come and borrow. And one of the examples that we have, I think behind me you can see panels, solar panels. So we have CEC as a good example that was able to come to market using debt, a debt instrument. So as a Securities and Exchange Commission, we are very well positioned to be an enabler of long-term capital formation, because we are able to facilitate capital raising that is required to grow those productive sectors of the economy. And we are able to link those that have excess funds with those that need the funds, which are the sectors of the economy. So you have your investors on one side, your pension schemes, even the people that are seated in here, you and me. We could have money that we want to invest in these productive sectors of the economy, in mining, so you could do it through equity, or you could do it through a debt instrument like a bond, like you invest in CEC. Thank you.
Thank you so much. ZESCO, powering the nation. How do you come into investment? When you were put on my panel, I was like, wow, ZESCO, investment. Let's hear from ZESCO. Where do you come in as ZESCO? Providing electricity. We've heard that the northern circuit is yet to be explored. Where are you in the investment of our nation?
Thank you very much. My name is Temwani Chira. I'm representing ZESCO. I'm responsible for power contracts and business development. So we do recognize, and I'm happy that most of the panelists now and before spoke about the different sectors of the economy, being tourism, agriculture, mining, and of course the energy sector. We come in terms of advocating for increasing our generation mix. I think most of us know that we've been hit by a drought in the last few years. So our focus at the moment is just to increase the generation mix. We have projects running under solar, utility scale solar. We have hydro. We also have thermal plants. And then apart from that, we have investment opportunities in our transmission and grid infrastructures. We have a number of projects lined up on the generation scale. And so the question is, how do we evacuate that power to different parts of the country and then, of course, to bordering countries? Above and beyond that, we've also managed to leverage our relationships by benefiting from a bilateral agreement from the Southern African Power Pool. So in the event that we don't have enough power, we're able to trade for this power from the neighboring countries under SAP. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Because of time, we are going to move to the audience just now. So allow for 3 questions. Somebody saying, but why don't you ask them some more? No, they are here for you. So you need to get into this and ask the questions that you need to ask. So any 3, 1 from this side, 1, yeah, please. Let me have the 1 from this side and just, yeah, 2 from this side. Thank you. Please be brief. If I see you start making comments, I will interject. Please be brief.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Luaya. So my question goes to Zambia Development Agency and the Industrial Development Corporation. So the question is, why is the government not investing in local infrastructure and the development of Zambia mineral resources instead of depending on primarily on foreign investors?
Let's get all the questions, and please, panelists, take note of the questions that you're being asked.
My name is Melody Mwanza, coming from Eagles Wings Christian School. The question goes to ZESCO. What incentive will ZESCO create this year to help Zambia SME actually act power, not just pay more for it, and the real initiative to is ZESCO giving to a Zambia factory this year? Thank you.
I think enough from that side. We have some people this side. Sorry, guys.
Wonderful. So my question is actually, maybe it will touch the entire panel, but probably to ZDA and the institutions involved in the commerce industry. So it is one thing to plan and upload in-house, and it's another for the beneficiaries to be able to implement. So if you look at the GDP, it's grown, but when you look at the GNP, it's not above the GDP. If you look at the formula for the GNP, it is the GDP plus investments made abroad. Now what that tells us is we're not doing well outside in order to improve our economy. So now my question is, especially to ZDA as well, how have you been able to help people understand on how they can actually be able to attend to businesses outside the country so that we may be able to improve on our GNP, which in turn will boost the GDP?
Thank you. That's all the questions we can take. So ZDA, you can take it off for us.
Thank you so much. So there was a question on why we're not focusing on investing in local infrastructure and depending on foreign investment, if I got the question correct. I think you note that, there's a saying that it's not government's business to do business. Huh? So, however, we're in a situation where we're a developing country, and of course, government has, where necessary, has to come in and do certain things, but we need to depend on partnering with the private sector. And therefore, because of this, yes, we will promote investment, not that we are primarily depending on foreign investors. No, we have also local investors who are doing very fine and supplementing government efforts. But government does partner with foreign investors just to be able to ensure that we provide the country with what it needs. I'm sorry, I didn't understand that question from the other gentleman on this side. So maybe I'll let the others respond, then we'll come back to it.
Sure, thank you. The question was what incentives is ZESCO providing to support SMEs? I would answer that question holistically. So first and foremost, we've received a lot of support from the government in terms of policy framework. And what I mean by that is we now have the open access framework. We've been able to have partnerships with independent power producers as well as independent power traders. What that then does for SMEs is they have a reliable power source and power supply for their business. And then secondly, we've also been able to harness, in terms of tax incentives, I think through the ZDA. The ZDA is also offering a lot of incentives for those that are in the solar space. So the whole idea behind these incentives is to support the growth sectors in our economy and foster economic development. Thank you.
Just to add on the SME aspect, yes, under a minute. As a government, we have the Capital Market Master Plan, and I hope everyone in the room is able to know that we do have a 10-year strategy under the capital markets, and one of the strategic developmental pillars is capacity building. We are talking about SMEs. They constitute over 95% of businesses in this country. So what we need is to grow them, to capacitate them, so that we can answer the question that was asked about how do we become competitive outside the country. We have to start with what type of companies do we have? How big are they? So you come to the capital markets, that is where you can get your long-term capital needed for growth. But again, you need to see, do you have governance systems in place? How are you structured, etc.? So that capacitation has been catered for in the Capital Market Master Plan, and I hope everyone in the room has read that report and will be on board to see that we actualize the vision of the government of the day. Thank you.
Okay, I'd also like to say something. Okay, yes. So there was the question on what government is doing or why the government is not, I think, participating in mineral production. So I just want to say IDC is the shareholder in ZCCM. So we are the largest shareholder in ZCCM. But we have another subsidiary. It's called Industrial Resources Limited. It's a 100% owned subsidiary. And through IRL, IDC is looking or has been looking to add value to our minerals production. So if you realize, I mean, typically Zambia, our involvement has been quite passive in the mines, and then our knowledge or involvement ends at the mine gate. When the mineral goes out, it ends there. So within the last year, through IRL, we have set up a partnership where we are now participating in trading Zambia's copper. So we've started with copper. We are very involved in buying concentrate from the mines, processing it through the local smelters, off-taking that metal and trading it internationally. What this does is obviously it's giving us, IDC and Zambia as a country, greater insight into where do our metals go, what are they used for, and obviously then when you understand that, you are then able to start thinking about integrating backwards. So there are moves that are happening in that space. Through IRL, we're also involved in gold aggregation, and you will see this very soon that we are launching the program very soon, where we are working with government again to, in a sense, almost try to bring sanity into the gold sector. So there is quite a lot of initiatives. There's a lot of cooking that takes place before you actually see it publicly. But
Thank
there are
you.
moves.
A big hand, ladies and gentlemen. Big hand to the panelists. Wish we could have more time. I know they have information that they would have loved to share, but we don't have enough time. And so we've come to the end of this panel discussion. I'd like to encourage all of us, kindly do visit the stands, the companies that are represented here, and ask the questions that you have not asked in this session. Thank you, panelists, and have a good day. Over to Mr. Scovella.
Thank you so much for that insightful discussion. Please, let's find time to visit the various organizations that are represented here so that we can get more information. We have just one more panel session to go. Thereafter, we'll have two